Hello, I am Dr. Mohammad Arshad, Principal Investigator of project number 9747, titling Investigations on Rootzone Constraints and Improvement Strategies for Better Performance of Major Cereal Crops grown in Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan. During my previous project funded by Pakistan Science Foundation, I observed that variations in the soil properties, especially low depth in various areas, and also the presence of rock fragments associated with the low yields of cereal crop, especially maize and wheat in Gilgit-Baltistan region. Then I proposed and I developed the proposal of this project and submitted to the Higher Education Commission for funding. And luckily it was approved, and I executed this project with various objectives. I had three objectives for this project. First objective was to characterize the agriculture soil of Gilgit-Baltistan with respect to different soil properties, especially soil depth, rock fragments, and organic matter in the soil. The second objective of this project was to determine the influence of various levels of rock fragments and soil depth on the yield of maize and wheat. Okay, and third objective of this project was to evaluate the root zone constraints related soil improvement strategies for better performance of selected cereal crops. So to achieve these three objectives, I divided these project activities into three groups. The group number one, I conducted the field survey, to gather the information related to the soil properties, especially the penetration resistance of the soil. And also during this survey, I collected the soil samples for further analysis. Then in the second phase, I conducted the lab experiments in order to determine the physical properties of the soil and also the contents of the organic matter in the soil. In the third phase, I conducted the pot experiments on wheat and maize in order to assess the influence of soil depth and various concentrations of soil rock fragments on the growth and yield of wheat and maize. And finally, I conducted experiments, pot experiments, to evaluate the soil improvement strategies by incorporating various levels of organic matter into the soil. During the field survey of this NRPU project, I conducted three activities. Number one, I collected the soil samples from 108 different sites. Sites includes the fields of maize and wheat. Okay, and I collected the soil samples using soil sampling kit. Secondly, I uh, done the measurement of soil penetration resistance, and also measurement of effective soil depth, and as well as the measurement of water holding capacity using a soil moisture meter. Thirdly, I also collected the information regarding the yields of wheat and maize, and this information was based on my personal communication with the farmers, okay, who were growing wheat and maize for the last 10 years. When I brought the soil and rock samples to the laboratory, I again conducted three lab activities. Number one, I determined the volume of the rocks in the soil sample through water displacement method. Then I conducted the texture analysis of the soil to determine the physical properties and composition of the soil using this graduated cylinder method. Thirdly, I determines the soil organic matter in the soil samples through loss on ignition method using the furnace. Following the lab experiments and categorization of the soil of the GB, I executed the pot experiments inside the greenhouse to determine the influence of soil depth and fractions of rock fragments on the growth and yield performance of both wheat and maize. During the pot experiments, I also assessed the influence of different levels of organic matter, especially the compost material, on the growth and yield of wheat and maize. In order to reduce the constraints due to the presence of different concentrations of rock fragments and also bottlenecks due to the low depth of the soil. So resultantly, I found the better growth in case of higher concentrations of organic matter in the soil. Regarding the conclusion of this project, I want to say that uh, the soil of the GB varied with respect to its properties, physical properties, and also with respect to the depth. And these constraints are due to the continuous erosion hazards, which are continuously reducing the depth of the soil and also increasing the number of rock fragments in the soil, which are influencing the yield and production of cereal crops. So, if we want to reduce the influence of these root zone constraints, we must have to increase the concentration of organic matter in the soil by incorporating compost material in the fields, and farmers must prepare this compost material or organic matter and incorporate into the soil in order to increase its productivity, because mixing of organic matter in the soil, increasing compost contents in the soil, and also by green manuring we can increase the water holding and nutrient holding capacity of the soil. These are my recommendations to the farmers, that they should focus on the inclusion of organic matter in the soil, so that the constraints due to the low soil depth and also due to this presence of rock fragments can be reduced maximally, and to increase the cereal production in this mountainous region of Pakistan. Thank you.